Hey folks, how's it going? Today I want to talk about FastIQ. This is a tool I developed to check out different open source large language models that keep getting released on a regular basis now. And the most recent one was Llama 3. And in addition to open source language models, we're seeing providers like Grok coming out with fast inference, where they've used or they've developed something called language processing units. And what you could do is use Llama 3, Mistral, and a few other models that they support and check them out on using their API or by going to their website. But there are so many different models out there that it becomes difficult for folks who don't code to be able to try them and test them out. So I've tried to scratch my own itch and build this UI. What you see here is a very simple UI. You can choose the provider of your choice, including OpenAI and some of the other ones that are a little popular out there. Anyscale supports a ton of models. So if you go to Anyscale, you choose that. You get to see a bunch of models from Anyscale. Then Together AI has even more number of models. Some of the other ones like Gemma, and you have Quen. You also have those from 01 AI. There's a few other models here that they support that you could try and use. And of course Grok, where they currently support a very fast inference version of Llama 3, both 8 billion and 70 billion, and Mistral. So I've also added a few templates here where you could test various tasks that you might be doing with AI. So things like assess a job candidate for a particular job description. You can write a sales email, a response to an email. So the email that you sent, the response you received, and what you expect when you respond back. And then you'll get the result here. And I'll show you a demo. And there's code review for folks who do these kinds of tasks. And the best part is, if any of the tasks here don't match with what you're doing, then you could just go and click on craft your own custom task and try it out. And here, basically, typically what you do is you provide context to the AI and some kind of instruction, right? So you could easily just copy paste your instructions, and the context can be specific to the task at hand, right? I typically try to do things like, hey, here's a piece of text, summarize that into bullet points or action items, or I put in the context like a piece of text from a research paper, and then I ask it for ideas for additional research and things like that. And you could do different things. So let's see how you can get yourself an API key. So for those who are not familiar with APIs and API keys, in a nutshell, an API is an application programming interface. That's what an API stands for. And literally, this is just a way for applications to communicate with each other. So if I create an application and I want you to be able to programmatically use it, then I will publish an interface and I'll write documentation, API docs, and then the way you call my API, I'll publish all that information, and then you'll have to get an API key that will authenticate you and allow you to call my API, right? So I think for the folks who are, who program and code in the audience, they understand this. For those who are, from other backgrounds, I'll show you how to get an API key and get started. Because you're not going to write any code here in using FastIQ, all you need to do is really figure out how to get this API key, which I'm about to show you. So go to grok.com, right? And once you've sort of logged in and signed up, it's free. You could click on Grok Cloud. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see this list of API, these options, and then click on API key. I'm going to show you how to create an API key here, but since I'm going to show it to you, it'll also show the API key on the screen. API keys are secrets. You're not supposed to share it with them. You shouldn't be committing it to your code base or just making it available publicly. So after I show you how to create an API key now, I'm going to delete these keys. So when I click on API, create API key, I'm going to say, let's say YouTube demo. This is the name of the key. You could give it a name that you have good recall for. Once I've copied it, done, I'm going to just try it for the sake of this video. I come back here to fastiq.netlify.app. And the best part is that all the traffic is going from your browser to Grok API. There is no backend server that is, going to receive your API key. All the traffic from your browser is going to the Grok API, right? There's nothing that I am getting into my server. There's no server-side call. The content of your prompts are all being sent to the Grok service via the API key. So let me come back here and ask a question. It's a typical task that I perform. Write a poem on Postgres. It's one of my favorite database technologies out there, and just generally want to look at the speed of that output. It was almost instant, right? And we'll see how that speed varies when you use a non-Grok provider, right? So let's check out Together AI. So Together.ai, start building now, click on that. It takes you to a console, pretty interesting console. You could use it, it's just similar to FastIQ, but I wanted to show you how to get the API key. So go to settings, click on API keys, and there's already an API key available here. So I'm gonna choose that, and let me open another instance of FastIQ, or let me just use this one, it's fine. So actually, let me just try another one. So FastIQ netlify.app, Together AI, I paste my API key. I'm gonna use Llama 3, I think it was the 8 billion version that we were using. Yep, this one. I type the same question, write a poem on Postgres. All right. Now this is taking a while. Well, it wasn't that bad. It was probably not as instant as Grok, but let's try Grok for 70 billion, the 70 billion version, right? Okay, let's try it again. Write a poem on Postgres. Well, let me see. Let me write a poem on SQLite. Okay, so that was quick. Let's look at how the non-Grok version performs. I think Together AI has actually done some interesting work in making inference fast. So maybe we should check against Anyscale or some other provider. But you can already see that it's taken a few more seconds than Grok. And now here it is, right? So try it out. You can actually look at the source code in GitHub. I'm going to get this developed in the open. So, you feel free to come back and share suggestions on features. There's a wiki that I've created where I've sort of written up a roadmap of items that I want to create. Things like being able to read a PDF, better markdown formatting, a couple of other task items where you can provide things like SQL, generate SQL based on schemas that you provide, and so on. So that's it for the demo. This is something that I created using GPT-4. Like a lot of this code that you see here was generated using GPT-4 as a coding assistant. After creating FastIQ, I see myself using it a lot, especially when I want to try models that are a bit sort of non-conventional, right? So for example, models on Together AI, they have a ton of models that not a lot of other providers are supporting. So let's say Quen, it's pretty interesting. This is a very powerful model as well. I found this to be useful in evaluating one open source versus the other. And as you can see, some of the tasks it performs really well. Wizard LM has been an interesting model coming out of Microsoft, if I remember right. Yeah, Mistral, of course, these are some of the powerful mixture of expert models that are out there, and Together supports that. So does Anyscale. But being able to sort of just get your own API key and try things out makes these models accessible to folks beyond the ones who can code, and that was my focus with this tool that I developed. So please give it a spin. It's open. You can actually check out the source in GitHub or just do view source on your browser. You could even run it in your own infrastructure, or inspect the code to see if it matches your requirements. No content goes to any service other than the provider that you choose here, right? There is no, the key is not being shared with me. I don't get any traffic. I don't know how you're using it. Everything is going to the provider that you've chosen. So, well, thanks for your patient listening, and hope to keep working on FastIQ and making it more useful and doing that in the open. Thanks a lot, folks, and stay tuned.